Hi, everybody. This is Jason Major with another episode of Sweaty Heroes and showing you some new comic bargains that I bought this one time in a comic show in Windsor, Ontario, that was strictly almost all comics at the Kubota Club. So, like one of those places where you would have a wedding banquet, for example. I got a whole bunch of these. 39 for only $30 from Paper Heroes in Windsor, and then a couple of them from a couple other vendors. So I'm going to show you what I got. Okay, Vendors number 1.5 by Roger Stern and Bruce Timm. That's pretty cool. Dark Knight's Death Metal: The Secret Origin of Superboy Prime. That's kind of fun. Marvel Knights Daredevil. I decided to try the Spawn universe titles, so there's a couple issues of Spawn, and then we have King Spawn, and then the Scorched, which is his team book, but also this cover is obviously a parody, a homage to Jim Lee's X-Men #1, and then Gunslinger Spawn, which is kind of a fun character. I'm Canadian, so I had to get an issue of Alpha Flight. This is from Secret Wars 2. Archie's Black Hood was part of Archie's superheroes, and Dark Horse did some stuff with Dark Circle. So this is the Black Hood. Some cool Archie comics. And I'll leave the other one for last, actually, to talk about. An issue of 80s Supergirl. An issue of Terminator, Salvation. Like a mid-quel, kind of like an in-between story. The Silencer from DC Comics. This is cool. Batman's Three Jokers. This book is like a $6.99 U.S. cover price. Probably had too many copies of it. This had 3 different Jokers in it from 3 different eras. There was a mystery in it, and illustrated by local artist Jason Fabic. Great book, worth getting for actually less than $1, 70 cents probably. X-Men Adventures from the X-Men cartoon. Issue of Venom with Mark Bagley doing the art from a couple years ago. The Mighty Thor. This is a Jane Foster Thor. A whole run of different Batman. The adventure continues. I actually felt the covers weren't reflective enough of the animated style. Like, you can see some of them, like, they're just they kind of look like the animated style, but not totally. And then especially these ones, like, you can't really tell too much that that's like the '90s animated style. It could just be the artist. I would rather have had more on the '90s animated style on the covers, but inside it's Ty Templeton or Rick Burchett doing the art, who did the animated comics from the '90s. A couple more Terminator comics from Dark Horse. An issue of Gwen Stacy, not to be confused with Gwenpool or Spider-Gwen. This is actually like proper Gwen Stacy from the looks of it. Like, obviously an untold tale, like, set in the past. We got Guardians of the Galaxy, number 2 from the '90s, when they were in the 31st century. Or whatever it was, the future. We have an issue 775 of The Flash. I decided to get that because I didn't have any Flash. Death Metal, which was the DC crossover from a couple years back. Mark Silvestri's Cyberforce with local artist David Finch doing the art, who was from Windsor, Ontario. Ben Reilly, The Scarlet Spider. Another issue of Scarlet Spider. IDW taking on ROM Space Knight. I look forward to having that. It'll be a fun book to read. The Sentry, which I think should be a lot of fun to read. Look at this, the '90s New Mutants by Liefeld. Early Cable appearance. I'm surprised, but there's like tons of them, that's why. And then '91 New Mutants Annual. And then John Wick, Keanu Reeves John Wick. Spectacular Spider-Man. And then I'd say the best for last. In this little video, we have this issue of Little Archie. But then we have this. This is great. Okay, men, congratulations! You just recruited for the war. So this is cool, and I want to just show a couple panels from this. I usually do this, but like this is cool. Like this is like 1971, so it would have been around the same time as the Vietnam War. How does a soldier feel to be in our country, fellows? Archie says. I don't know, Arch. Anyways, we don't have heck of a lot to say about it one way or another. And then later on, it's like, it says, of course Archie says, of course we don't want to go. Who in his right mind would want to get killed? And then his friend says, then get with it, cats. Protest, refuse, burn your draft card. Burn our draft cards? What would that prove? Archie says. It would show our government that we no longer want to be used as pawns in a chess game for a senseless war by a few forceful politicians. And then Archie says, I think I can see. It just so happens that we, the people, elected those politicians and gave them the power. Next time we won't. I think I can speak for my buddies, even though we are much opposed to the war as anyone else. We don't intend to cop out. That's wrong. The only way to make a better society for everybody is by teamwork, not each man for himself. And then later on, Archie says, the other guy says, Archie says, I mean, violent, wild protesting and senseless rioting never really accomplished anything but contempt and fear. So it's just this really fun little book where Archie is preaching peace and like peace in the midst of the protests and peaceful protest, and it leads to a song that says "Summer Prayer for Peace," which was a song that was actually sung by the fictional band. But I mean, they had a like a cartoon band that did songs for an album called the Archies, and it was called "Summer Prayer for Peace." And Archie says we are facing many growing problems. And if everyone uses reasoning and works together, it will be resolved because this is the dawning of a new generation. This is a fun little book. I think this is a really cool find for $1. Archie drafted in the war. And of course it just says what if at the end. So that's my little find for today. And hope you have a great day. Keep being sweaty heroes. Thank you. Talk to you later.